Alright YouTube, so this is the, I don't know, 4th time I've tried filming this video. This is the part 2 to the video series that I started last week, which was the part 1, how do you launch paramotor, part 2, how do you fly, part 3, how do you land. I don't know how many times I've tried to film part 2, which is how do you fly, general things to look out for, progression, this, that, rotor, all of those kind of fun things, which I'm going to touch on today. First, I wanted to start off by saying you guys are a bunch of hateful people. I don't get it. I don't know what I did to you to cause you to hate me so much, but that's your problem. I don't really care. Personally, I find myself just as annoying as you all do. I don't know how you guys made it 30 seconds in the video, or even 10 seconds in the video. I didn't make it but 5, so I had to turn myself off. Anyways, you guys really did hate on that last video, so let's get started right away. I tried filming this in the air twice. The audio on my helmet didn't work both times, so now I have to film it on the ground with you. Let's start with general way of how does the paramotor work, how do you fly it, what do you do, those kind of things. First off, there's 2 main things that you use to control the paraglider. Well, 3 main things that you use to control the paraglider. The first one is weight shift, as your ability to shift your weight within the actual paramotor, changing your direction by adding loading on one riser over the other. Second one is with brakes. As you pull down on the brake, it produces drag on that side, therefore changing your direction depending on how much brake you pull, how fast you change direction. The third one is throttle. Now, when do you use weight shift? When do you use brakes? When do you use throttle? Well, let's start with throttle. Throttle is how you go up and how you come down. If you would like to climb, you simply ease into the power. It helps you come up. If you would like to come down, you ease off the power and it comes down. Then we have the second one, which was brakes. When do you use brakes? A general term for brakes is it is an enhancement of your weight shift. Weight shift in general is how you want to use or what you want to use to change your direction, and you add brake to then enhance that direction change with weight shift. Typically, we use weight shift to actually counter what is called torque steer. Now, torque steer is the propeller spins in a certain direction, therefore turning the unit in that direction as well. And on the particular unit we use, the Vittorazzi Monster 185, that is to the right because the propeller spins to the right. New pilots that take their first flight are sometimes thrown off by this weight or this torque steer as it rips you to the right, and you then have to counter it with weight shift. We always try and use weight shift to counter it versus brake, because brake produces drag, an excessive amount of drag, therefore stalls the glider. Stalling the glider is in no way, shape, or form a good idea. So that's why we use weight shift. With the flat top, you have a ton of weight shifting ability. You simply hook that side, shift your body weight over, and it carries you in that direction. Then we move into the next thing, which is where should you fly, what do you need to look out for, and stuff like that. There's a few things you really want to be on the lookout for, and I'll start with the first one, which is your wake. As you fly through the sky, you produce this spinning air behind you, which slowly dies off. Well, if you fly in a circle, you're going to fly through your own wake. Not a problem. You'll feel it all of a sudden, boom. With the right skills, with the right practice, you'll immediately load that glider again. Without the right skills, without the practice, the glider is at risk of collapsing as you're unloading the glider in that moment. Oh, you have a skydiver. You want to be on the lookout, you want to be cautious, you want to be aware of that. Sorry, mini little pit stop there, I had to go help. Second one you really want to look out for is rotor. Rotor is produced on the backside of an object as wind blows towards it. So for example, you have a hotel. Wind is blowing towards this hotel, it hits the hotel, goes up and over the hotel, and on the backside of the hotel, it there spins and spins and spins and spins. Rotor is really ugly. If you hit rotor and you fly through rotor, the glider is going to want to go and drop you out of the sky. You don't want that. You don't want it to go and fall out of the sky. You want to be very aware of where rotor is. So, how do you identify where rotor is? How do you avoid rotor? That comes in knowing where the wind is coming from. For example, right here on the beach, the wind right now is blowing from over there. So I know any object like this, right here is producing rotor. Right there is producing rotor. That car is producing rotor. So So if there was a 10-story skyscraper or hotel right here, behind it, it would be producing rotor. So I would not want to fly anywhere behind that building. Then I want to get into the next part, which is general moving through the sky. For the most part, there's not much to look out for. Simply don't fly into objects that you're gonna hit. Don't fly towards something without having enough time to climb out of it, so on and so forth. Kind of common sense. It shouldn't need to be explained too much. The next one's really important. I really want to touch on it, and it's called intermediate syndrome. A lot of people fall into this intermediate syndrome, and it hits you like a rock. You don't even know you're in it, and it's really dangerous. That's when people get hurt. That's when people get killed. You don't want to get into intermediate syndrome without being aware of being in intermediate syndrome. What is intermediate syndrome? It's thinking all of a sudden you're invincible. You start getting some skills, you start progressing, you start getting really good, you have some experience, you think you could do it all, and you think you could do it all really well. You might. However, you really want to be cautious in the intermediate syndrome time, because that's when you make mistakes. That's when you mess up. That's when you get hurt. That's when bad things happen. You want to be aware of when you start pushing the limits too much. It's okay to push the limits. It's okay to progress as a pilot. In fact, you should, but you want to do it smoothly. You want to slowly progress into things. I don't want you coming out here and jerking a hard right brake trying to do a wingtip drag on your third flight. Third flight is not the time to learn a wingtip drag. Your fifth flight is not the time to learn a loop. You need some experience, you need some practice, you need some time. You do not want to fall into the intermediate syndrome. Most of the people that I know in this sport that have got hurt because they were pushing the limits stupidly in the intermediate syndrome phase. So, how do you progress as a pilot? How do you go and progress and get better and better and better and start pushing the limits a little more? Well, that's pretty easy, and that's what you ask for an instructor. Your instructor should be the one that helps guide you on your path from where you are now to where you want to be, to the next step, to the next step. They should know what skill level you're at and what skill you should be getting to and how to get you there. They're the ones that take you from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6. So as you start getting better and you want to start cranking harder turns and 360s and diving at the ground and this and that, you should be asking your instructor how to do it. They should be the ones coaching you from step to step to step and helping guide you in the process of becoming a better and better paramotor pilot. Now, it sounds super easy. Pull right, pull left, turn left, throttle to go up, throttle off to go down, and for the most part it is, but there's a lot more to it, and I try to kind of simplify it and tell you guys a few things to look out for. Make sure you're watching out for rotor. Make sure you're watching out for weather. I guess I forgot about weather. I should probably mention weather, shouldn't I? Weather is really, really important. Weather can be really, really dangerous. You do not want to be flying in rough weather. Now, the most important thing is not just checking the weather around you here and what you see, but checking the weather within 50 miles of you. Is there a ginormous piece of activity, as we call it, or giant cloud, giant storm moving this direction at 50 miles an hour that's 50 miles away from you? Because in 1 hour that storm's going to be to you. If it is, you should not be in the air here, even if the weather is good here. You need to be aware of the weather all the way around you. What's over there? What's over there? What's over here? What's over there? You need to know all the weather around you. What weather can you fly in? What weather shouldn't you fly in? What weather is on the iffy side? This, that, the other thing. You want to make sure that you know everything about the weather conditions around you. Just like intermediate syndrome, weather can be really dangerous. That can get you hurt really, really quickly because there's so many different things that can happen so quickly. Spinning air, sinking air, rising air, thermals, all of that kind of stuff, all can hit you like a rock. You want to make sure you're aware of it. You want to make sure you're watching out for it, and weather is important to look out for. Now, I hope you guys liked this video. I hope you guys learned a few things in this video. I gotta run. If you guys are interested in learning how to fly, check out flyflattop.com or call 800-707-2525, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks.